One day when I was 12 years old, I was home alone with my little brother, who was 4 at the time. I was watching TV when I heard knocks on the front door. My little brother was sleeping in his room. My mom told me not to answer the door, so I just ignored it. The knock stopped after a few minutes, so I thought that the person had left. About an hour later, someone knocked on the door again, and I ignored it again. Then I heard something that still scares me to this day. Someone whispered through the mailbox, "I know you're alone, little boy, and I'm going to kill you." I immediately ran to the phone and called 911. The police were on their way. I knew the man had enough time to break the door and kill me and my little brother before the police arrived. So I screamed, "I called 911 and the police are on their way." Then I packed a knife and I stood in the living room until the police arrived. The man was never caught. After a few months we moved to Florida, and I still didn't tell my little brother about this. He's 13 now. It was the middle of summer and my parents had left for the weekend to go to our house in Cape Cod. It was about a 2-hour drive away, so it's no big deal for them to leave me alone for a few days. My mom had made some pulled pork and pasta for me to heat up to eat whenever, and I had some money if I wanted to order a pizza. Things were all good. The first night I was alone, I stayed up until 3 in the morning playing Xbox, so I woke up really late the next day. I checked my phone when I woke up and saw it was a little past 1. I had made plans to play some street hockey with my friends at 3, so I threw myself out of bed and stumbled into the shower. I take really long showers, so when my parents are gone, I go mental. I was in there for 45 minutes on my phone, scrolling through Reddit and Twitter and whatnot, when I heard my front door open. The bathroom is directly upstairs from the back door, and the thing is pretty loud when it opens and closes. I immediately froze, since obviously I was supposed to be alone. I waited for about 2 minutes, ears trained and trying to hear anything else. Nothing. I figured it was just a wind, or maybe my parents were home early. So I turned off the shower, wrapped my towel around myself, and slowly walked down the stairs to check it out. So the stairs to the kitchen, where the back door is, are pretty tight and walled in, so it's essentially like walking down a tighter version of this, but replacing the rail with a wall. So I can't see into the kitchen when I walk down. Even though my house is old as shit, and each step on the stairs makes a super loud creak, I still took my time and tried to be as quiet as possible. I probably took 45 seconds walking down all 12 of the stairs. So when I get to the second to last stair, right before I could see around the corner into the kitchen, I take a little breath to compose myself. In my mind, I know I was being stupid. There's obviously wasn't anything in the kitchen. There's no way I would have heard another noise. And there's no reason for them to still be in the kitchen, even if there were burglars or something in the house. After sort of mentality, chastened myself for being such a wuss. I sort of chuckled to myself for being so stupid and just normally walked the last 2 stairs and turned the corner into the kitchen. Standing about 2 feet away from me in the middle of my kitchen is a man staring straight at me, perfectly still, with a massive smile across his face, just staring at me. The thing I remember most vividly wasn't his face or his smile, but his arms. They weren't just at his side. He held them in the strangest, most abnormal position I ever seen. They were where one would normally hold their arms. He had rotated them to the point where they were almost completely reversed, as well as lifted them up and a little behind himself. I don't know why I remember this so much, but it's just the most demonic, abnormal position I ever seen. Honest to God, I think I almost had a heart attack right there. Looking back, I can realize how fucking creepy the situation was. But in the moment, I just took a step towards him and punched him as hard as I could in the jaw. Sort of as slapping or pushing him towards the ground. The second I connected, I beelined up the stairs, dropping my towel in the kitchen with my heart beating out of control. I fucking sprinted into my room and locked the door behind me. I quickly put a chair up against the doorknob, like you see in TV. Almost without thinking, I immediately called 911, nearly in tears. Told the operator what happened. I sat on the floor of my room, in practically the fetal position, staring at the door, praying that a cop would be here soon. I noticed the light coming from the gap between my door had stopped. The fucker was standing outside of my door. There's no words to describe the feeling I had. I was paralyzed with fear, watching the shadow across the bottom of the door shift in tiny ways. I stayed balled up, staring at the gap, praying the man would go away for what seemed like an hour. All the while, the 911 operator was asking, "Hello, sir? Sir, are you there? Hello?" I didn't want to make a noise, and even if I wanted to move my arms to bring the phone to my mouth, I don't think I could have. Eventually, the light returned to the gap, and I heard the faintest of footsteps slowly creaking the wooden floorboards as he walked down the hall. It was silent for minutes as I sat there curled up, unable to even speak. I heard banging on the front door and the sound of 2 police officers entering my house. I finally felt safe, and I opened the door to the 2 of them standing there. I almost cried. Nowadays, my parents don't even leave me home alone anymore. Thank God. And I check every lock on the house before going to bed. I still get nightmares occasionally, and my heart starts racing whenever I see someone standing still. But I'm doing alright. Even working with sketch artists and a few lineups, the police never found whoever the fuck was in my house. That sends shivers down my spine every time I look outside, half expecting to see him standing across the street, smiling under a lamppost. I have no idea what he wanted or who he was, but regardless. This happened about 4 months ago. I am a freshman in a university, and at the time I was only 17 years old. To give a little perspective, I am 4'11" and about 110 pounds. Very petite and not menacing in any sense of the word. I was home alone, and it was approximately 9 p.m. It was dark, like midnight, because it was winter. It is critical to note that I was a very foolish girl. I didn't lock the locks because I was home and I was inclined to believe that I lived in a safe neighborhood, which never had any crime activity as long as I had resided there. I was alone for the later part of the day, and my mother had asked me to mop the tiles earlier in the day. Being the procrastinator I notoriously was, I left it till about an hour before I expected her to come home. The tiles are parallel to the front door, and the door is metal with 2 locks both undone, and a glass cutout in the door, like a two-way window. So I was cleaning the tiles when the doorbell rings. To be fair, I never answer the door when I'm alone, but the person outside has seen me through the window in the door, and it felt rude to just ignore him. As I step closer, I see the man with blonde hair in his early 30s watching me approach the door. He looked normal enough, so without much hesitation or thought, I pull the door open. The man at first pauses and looks at the doorknob, and in that moment I realized that he was puzzled as to why I didn't have to unlock the lock prior to opening it. The convo was, me. Hi, can I help you? Him. Hello. I'm with blank phone company. Are your parents home? Me. We are not with that company, and my dad's taking a shower right now, so he can't speak to you. Him. I don't hear any water running. Are you sure he can't come to speak to me? My company is offering a promotional offer that lasts only till the end of this month. Me. No thanks. Maybe you can come back tomorrow? Him. Well, maybe I can talk to you. How old are you? At this point, I'm getting slightly creeped out. Who would be doing promotions so late at night? Me. I'm 17. I don't think I can help you. The bill is not in my name or anything. Him. Can I come in? I can show you the details of our offer. And maybe you can convince your dad after to switch to our network. I'm super freaked out now. Me. I'm sorry, sir. I can't let you in. Please come back tomorrow. At this point, I nearly slammed the door shut. The man doesn't say anything, but doesn't exactly abruptly leave either. I lock the chain slowly so he doesn't hear it, but he's still looking at me with a creepy look through the window. He then waved and walked off the porch. I noticed he doesn't have a company car with him. Feeling paranoid, I fully locked up, and shortly after my mom arrived home. I did not convey to her anything about what happened, for I was worried I would be scolded. The next day, there was a knock on the door, but this time it was the police. The house adjacent to us was broken into last night, ransacked, and the owner was beaten badly. They wanted to know if we had seen anything, and reluctantly, I explained the previous incident to them. Unfortunately, they never caught the individuals responsible, and the owner of the house soon moved out after. The house is still vacant, and sometimes I wonder what would have happened to me if I had let the man inside. I will never open the door again.